Right, folks, welcome back to the Pits To Podium Formula One show. And finally, it's time for the feature of the driver of this week. And this time, I've got one of India's finest experts in the world of motorsport. He only recently won the Elite Club Championship in the Euro NASCAR Series after many, many years away from motorsport. And in the last 2019 season, he came back in and finished in the top five of the prestigious Elite 2 category of the Euro NASCAR Series. It's none other than Advait Deodhar. Advait, how are you doing, man? It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Hi, Soumil. I'm very well. Hope you are too. Thanks a lot for having me here. Always look forward to doing stuff with you on the camera. Sounds weird, but you know what I mean.
No, definitely, in a good way, that's for sure. But how have you been catching on, man, with no racing going on? How have you been adapting? Have you been doing a lot of sim racing lately?
Yeah, so luckily I already had my sim set up before lockdown started. So I have driven more laps on that than I have in probably the past 3 years combined. I've been doing a lot of sim racing and uh, yeah, just driving in various championships with over here with a lot of the Indian drivers. We've got our little Indian league going on. So that's
Yeah.
been really, really enjoyable getting on track with these guys. And yeah, it's been really, really fun keeping me entertained and busy.
And for those of you who don't know much about Advait, well, Advait is one of the finest racing drivers that India has produced in quite a while. I think he initially started out with single-seater racing, and then now recently is doing wonders in stock car racing. So Advait, can you just give the viewers a little bit of an idea about what you really do and what makes you so fast?
So yeah, I'm racing in the European NASCAR Championship. I got back to drive. I started in 2012. I did some single seaters in India, 2012, 2013, 2014. Then I shifted to the UK to try and take my career forward. Without any funding, I didn't drive, and I got back to driving in 2018. I started in the Euro NASCAR Elite Club Championship, and then moved into the main division, the Elite 2 division in 2019. And against a very, very competitive grid, raced in 7 countries around Europe against drivers who raced in GP2, GP3, ex-Auto GP champion, drivers who raced at Le Mans in GT cars, Pro Series in American NASCAR, and yeah, I finished fourth in the championship in
Wow.
2019, which is a fantastic feat given the circumstances and the fact that I missed one round. So yeah, that's a
Wow.
bit of my background.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic, Advait.
Thank
And
you.
let's quickly get down to the matters that's going on in Formula One, because as a racing driver, you would be pretty interested in knowing the fact that, well, Vettel's not at Ferrari anymore. I mean, we all thought that Ferrari would be the one that would actually sort of, would be the one that's struggling in this sort of relationship between Vettel and Ferrari. They've never really found out a way to produce a championship winning car. And although Vettel's been making mistakes on his side as well, people primarily perceived it that Vettel would be the one to leave Ferrari and go on to a bigger team. But seems like things have changed around, and Ferrari have been the one to release Vettel off from this role. So, what do you see happening with Vettel next? Where does he go? And do you still think that there is a way around for him? And do you think he has that sort of fire inside of him to keep going on in Formula One?
So I'm a big Vettel fan. I mean, I've supported Vettel. I think ever since that when he first did that one-off drive in the BMW, and I think he was 19 years old, and then his Toro Rosso drive, and then of course his glory Red Bull years. So I've always been a Vettel fan, and it hurts me to say, but I feel there's been something missing over the past few years. There's that fire. Like Vettel is a killer.
Hmm.
You need to be in not in the literal sense, but in Formula One, you need to be a killer to be a champion. And
Yeah.
Vettel's a killer. And I think that something is it's not there anymore. That final edge is missing over the past few years. I know it hasn't worked out at Ferrari. I know they could have. I mean, I think it was 17. He had a realistic shot for the championship, and I think Ferrari threw it away. And I think because being to be a Formula One world champion, there's so many factors that are surrounding the driver, and I think they just haven't had the perfect package. And Mercedes have been unbeatable. So on one hand, I feel Vettel is missing the fire. Whether that's happened because of the situation at Ferrari or something on a personal level, I'm not sure. But he's still got it in him. He's a four-time world champion. He's a multiple race winner, and the only way I see it is Vettel signing with Mercedes. Remember one thing: Vettel is a very, very intelligent man, and you watch his
Yeah.
interviews, you hear drivers, team bosses speak about him. He's probably one of the smartest guys that there are on the grid. And even though Ferrari let him go, he would not have walked away from essentially in the final years of his career from a championship-winning team to not have a seat. So
Hmm.
I'm confident that Vettel's going to go to Mercedes. He's a German driver. It's a marketing goldmine for the team. I mean, I can't think of a better marketing headline for Mercedes, and I don't see him going anywhere else. So I'm praying to God, and I've been watching Formula 1 for over 22, 23 years now, and watching my two favorites, Lewis and Sebastian, in the same team. I mean, it's probably the best moment that in all my life of watching Formula 1, if that happens. And I see it
Right.
happening.
It would be really fascinating. But one thing that's on the mind of multiple Formula One fans is, as a team principal, would Toto really want that? Because when we saw Nico Rosberg in the team, of course, it's good to have some positive turbulence in the team when you have someone to come in and challenge the existing person and kind of, put a bit of a challenge and try to force Lewis Hamilton into another gear. But you've seen that it can go out of hands at times with Nico Rosberg as well. So although Sebastian is more of a calmer driver in that regard, I think he's become more mature since he's left Red Bull. But still, if you're Toto, would you actually go for something like that to try and have two big stalwarts of the sport in the very same team?
I think that's where you see a bad. I mean, from what never believe the media, but the media shows that apparently Toto has had a fallout with some of the Daimler bosses because they want Sebastian in, and Toto does not right away want Sebastian in because the big bosses are saying that it's a marketing dream for the company, for the group. But Toto knows after the fireworks between Rosberg and Hamilton that that's not a good idea. But like I said, I think what they would do is probably give it a year or 2 years to see what happens. I mean, they've already got a car that's with the current regulations which are going on for another year. They've already got a car which is up there, which their main competitor is probably only going to be Red Bull. And I think Hamilton Vettel would be fireworks, not from the get go, but I think there will be fireworks in due course. But being in Toto's position, he's got his number two boy Valtteri, who's never going to match Lewis. So they have, how I hate Valtteri from our
Yeah.
previous conversation. So I would let Valtteri go with the snap of a finger, but I think they're gonna. So on one hand, Toto's got a perfect number two to Lewis. Lewis he's on his A game and he's got his wingman by his side, and
Oh,
he'll go
that's
on
the
for
word.
another.
That's the word we're looking for. Wingman. That's the word that we're waiting for.
Exactly, and so on one hand, they've got perfect balance over there, but on the other hand, it's Sebastian Vettel. I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? They'll finish 1-2 in the championship. That's not too bad.
True. Absolutely. And now let's quickly come back to, I think what we can say is one of the finest drivers to have ever graced the sport, Fernando Alonso. See, Alonso has been in and around the sport for quite a while, and ever since he left McLaren, he's been some sort of an explorer in the world of motorsport. He's done so many things. But you see him coming back. Liberty are strongly backing this move. They're willing to fund a part of it as well. But we had Robin coming on the show previously, and he said that, of course, Renault's restrictions, that now that they've been given a bailout package by the government, it just will become even more trickier. But let's come to Fernando's perspective. Would Fernando want to come back to a midfield team like Renault?
I think the deal's already done, being honest with you. I think the Fernando deal's already confirmed. I mean, usually when rumors are at this level, when even team bosses like Cyril say that they would consider it, and Alonso's suddenly back in the limelight on his sim racing and giving these hints here and there, I think the deal's already done. I'm sure they would have got support because, like you rightly mentioned, Renault have had to lay off thousands of people. They've got a multi-billion-dollar bailout from the company. They've closed the Alpine division, and so they would get a lot of flack if they signed a 20, 30 million pound deal with Fernando. So I think there will be some support. Either he take a pay cut or Liberty will support. And also remember, Fernando brings sponsors himself.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, you got to remember that. So I think I think he's back now. Whether it's a good move or not, it's hard to say because Renault are nowhere. I don't think they've got evidently Ricardo saw something which others don't. They don't have good management.
he
Whether it's
he saw the paycheck, that's for sure.
exactly. I'm saying the fact that he left. The fact that he left. So I think Fernando's coming back. I think the deal is done. But whether it's a good move or not, or again, we're gonna hear him moaning and complaining on the radio. I'm not sure, but he's not going to be fighting for races. I mean, it's amazing to have him back, but he's not going to be fighting for any race wins in the next 24 months, in my opinion.
Indeed, indeed. Right, so that's sorted out. Now let's move on to a more fun segment of the show, which is the rapid fire, where we try and find out your more personal preferences as a racing driver. So, are you ready, Advait?
I'm ready.
Okay, super. Let's go. So the first one, Ferrari or McLaren, which one would you choose?
Ferrari.
Oversteer or understeer?
Oversteer, for sure.
Senna or Prost?
Well, I never grew up in the era, but I'm going to just say Senna.
Okay, Hakkinen or Schumacher?
Schumacher. I love Michael.
Right, here's a tricky one for you. NASCARs, the ones that you drive, or single-seaters?
Ooh, which type of single seater though?
Uh, let's say the 1600s, the Yamaha 1600s that you've driven most
Oh.
recently.
Obviously, Euro NASCAR. There's no comparison.
Right, the next one, Vettel or Hamilton. Two of your favorites. Which one would you go for?
Oh, you really put me on the spot here, Soumil. I gotta say Lewis. Lewis all the way. Unfortunately.
Right, there's two circuits now, ones that are absolute classics in the world of Formula One: Silverstone or Spa,
Spa, for sure.
Monza or Monaco.
Oh, it's a tough one. Because I'll be very honest with you. I hate Monza on the sim. I actually hate
Same
it. I
here.
don't know why.
I absolutely despise it.
I hate Monza on the sim, but I think Monaco is Monaco, so I'm going to choose Monaco for that.
Super. Right, Hamilton or Alonso.
Hamilton, without a doubt. And let me tell another thing to all the people watching. Hamilton is, and always will be the better driver of the two. He beat Alonso in his rookie year. He went around the outside of Alonso in his first race. So, yeah, just thought I'd put it out there.
Well, that's a bold statement right there. But yeah, finally, get in there, Lewis. But of course, Cyril or Christian is a tricky one.
Oh, Christian, without a doubt. Evidently, we can see Cyril is not very good at managing a team. He's got all the resources behind him.
Oh boy.
Probably got more money than Christian available, and look at the difference. So, without a doubt, Christian.
Right, now the final question for you. If you had to choose from dominating a race from the front or coming back from the back of the grid, which one would you choose?
That's quite. Do I end up winning the coming from the back?
Yeah, either way.
Yeah. So there must have been a reason. So I'm going to say coming from the back. So because you get applauded twice for coming through and for winning.
Superb, superb. Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, was Advait Deodhar. Advait, it was an absolute pleasure to have you on the show here. Thank you so much for being a part. And any final words, anything that you have to say to all the viewers before we depart?
Yeah, thanks so much. I really enjoyed it as always. It's fun doing this stuff with you. And yeah, I hope everyone stays safe. Everyone's okay at home and we recover from this. And let's hope we go racing soon. Formula One's back in a month. And let's hope other forms of motorsport follow as well. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for watching this first episode of the Pits to Podium show, everyone. Please feel free to leave any feedbacks, anything that you liked about the show, anything that we can work on so that we can actually work together and try to make this one an even better show. Well, from myself, Soumil Arora signing off. See you soon. Bye-bye.